This is about the fifth start on this history lesson. Today is becoming a Monday of all Mondays for me. But you're going to do the comprehension page over David Brainerd and Jonathan Edwards. There's a fill in the blank section at the bottom where you just answer the question, and then there's a cut and paste where you're going to put the timeline in order. 1620, the Pilgrims came to Plymouth. 1640, the Puritans. 1630, the Puritans came to Massachusetts Bay. 1636, they began Harvard College, and in the 1740s we had the Great Awakening. I want to go over the Quizlet, and I hope that YouTube will oblige, and if it stops me this time, I just give up. William Bradford was the governor of Plymouth Colony. Why did Puritans have a special interest in education? Because they wanted their children to be able to read God's Word. And not everybody could read, and they felt like if you could read, you could be closer to God. What pastor did God use to lead the Great Awakening? That was Jonathan Edwards. Where did the Puritans settle? Massachusetts Bay Colony. Now on the Quizlet that you're going to complete in a couple of days on your own, it says Massachusetts Bay Colony, and you need to pretend like you're on Jeopardy, and you need to be able to tell me that that's where the Puritans settled. What were the 4 New England colonies? Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and you've read about all 4 of those in this chapter. What was the Great Awakening? It was the return to God in the colonies. What natural resources did the New England colonists use? They used wells and trees, because remember, the ground was not friendly and they were unable to plant a lot of crops. What is the name of the first college in the colonies? That's Harvard College, still in existence today. What freedom did the Pilgrims want to have in the New World? They wanted freedom of religion. A job that takes special skill is a trade. That's like if you go to the Votech now, you can learn a trade, and those are some of our better paying jobs right now, honestly. A Puritan preacher who moved west and started Connecticut was Thomas Hooker. The Native American who helped the Pilgrims grow crops such as fish and trade with grow crops, catch fish, and trade with the Native Americans was Squanto. Remember, he learned to speak English because he lived in England for a while when he was kidnapped. He came back. His tribe had died, probably from smallpox from the Europeans. A preacher in Massachusetts that disagreed with the Puritan leaders and started the colony of Rhode Island was Roger Williams. A person's belief about where he came from, how to worship, and how to live is called religion. A group from England who wanted to change the church were the Puritans. The colony formed by the Pilgrims in 1620 was Plymouth. People who came from England and formed Plymouth to have religious freedom were the Pilgrims. A building used for worship and town meetings was called a meeting house. An agreement that said just laws would be needed in the New World was the Mayflower Compact. The ship on which the Pilgrims traveled was the Mayflower. The governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony was John Winthrop. How were the Puritans different from the Pilgrims? The Puritans were richer, they had a better education, they wore bright colored clothing. Remember, the Pilgrims, if you look at their pictures, mostly wore dark clothing. How did the Pilgrims celebrate their first harvest in 1621? They had a Thanksgiving feast, and if you remember, I told you it lasted 3 days. They played games. They invited the Native Americans to join them. A wooden paddle that had the alphabet and the Lord's Prayer on it was a horn book. And a school taught by a woman in her home was called a dame school. Remember, there were 3 levels: dame school, grammar school, and college. And people who came to live in the colonies were called colonists. Now, I put 2 links in the lesson plans that I've sent to your mom and dad. Both of them are Quizlet links. One is a matching game and one is a learning game, but it will help you to study for your Quizlet test, for lack of a better word. in a couple of days. So if you'll go online and practice those, then you'll be better prepared. But like I said, if it has Massachusetts Bay Colony, you need to know that that's where the Puritans settled. Pretend like you're on Jeopardy. The test is exactly like this. And if your parents are able to come to the school Wednesday, I'm going to give them the social studies test and other things to take back home with them. If not, I will scan all the information, all the sheets, all the work that you need into the computer so that you don't get behind. I just wanted to let Liam know that I bought a puzzle a while back, and I thought about him when I started separating the edges out, and I think I bit off more than I can chew, because this is a 1,000-piece puzzle and I probably should have started with something a little simpler. So I may need you to help me complete this thing when all of this corona is over. I hope everybody's doing well. The weather was beautiful this weekend. The week is not started off so sunny, but please take some breaks. Please have some fun. Read a book, practice your math facts, and I will talk with you guys tomorrow. Have a good afternoon, and I love you bunches. I'll talk with you later.